A true leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done and his aim fulfilled, he will stand up and say, "We did it." Coming up. Well, as some of you might know, we woke up this morning of Thursday with breaking news that the proposed VAT increase, which was meant to be implemented next month, has been reversed. Yep, it has been reversed. Our Treasury issued a statement shortly after midnight today, Thursday.
South Africa's value-added tax will remain at 15%. The Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, has announced the decision to reverse the highly contested value-added tax increase. Well, in that statement, the National Treasury says the Minister will shortly introduce the rates and monetary amounts and the Amendment of Revenue Laws Bill, which proposes to maintain the VAT rate at 15% from the 1st of May. The national budget presented in March proposed a 0.5% increase to VAT, and this was proposed in the fiscal framework earlier this month.
And of course, the shocking news is that all the party concerned are claiming victory individually. I'm talking about ANC, DA, Action SA, BOSA, and all of them are claiming victory. And the big question is, whose victory it is anyway? And of course, Action SA didn't waste time. They took it to tweet this morning, and this is what they wrote. A great day for all South Africans, as we promised. As we promised, there is no VAT increase. Wow.
Time we have Action SA's reaction to this. The Chief Whip, Athol Trollip, joins me live now. Mr. Trollip, apologies for making you wait as well, but of course you can imagine that a very significant and important issue at play here, with the Finance Minister reneging on that VAT increase. What does this mean for your party? Does it make you look bad ultimately because you sided with them on the basis that they would find other alternatives anyway?
Look, I'm really astounded at what you've just said. I've been listening to your guest before me, who's now claiming victory. It's amazing that success has many parents and failure has none. What the DA is now displaying is a real Leviathan kind of spirit, because there's an analogy that says you can attract flies with honey or vinegar. And now that the parties that applied the vinegar application are seeing that the parties that use the honey are attracting more attention, they're now trying to claim success and victory. I will remind you that it was Action SA that has come under the most incredible pressure for the last month after we said that we will pass the fiscal framework, which the DA now incidentally says they're happy to do. We said we would pass the fiscal framework on condition that our recommendations be implemented. And those recommendations are that we go back and interact with Treasury and the Finance Minister to find alternatives to increasing VAT. We have done that systematically over the last month. We have engaged with all of the people involved, the ANC, Treasury, the Finance Minister. We've come up with proposals. The Minister has accepted those. We've had meetings, we've had interactions, we've released press statements. So there's a paper trail for the last month of what we've actually done. And you know, South Africans are always at their very best when they're working together and cooperating, and they're at their very worst when they're fighting against each other and litigating and finger pointing and criticizing. And this is just yet another example of a political party in South Africa that has chosen from the beginning of this new dispensation to say that we will be a critical but a constructive opposition. And we have been just that. We've been constructive. We have gone to the trenches to find a solution, not to the courts. We went to the trenches to find a solution to prevent poor people having to pay VAT. So I don't understand what your introduction was. We are delighted that we were the party that stuck our necks out in the Finance Committee. We were called ignorant. We were called stupid. We were called quaint. Now all of a sudden everyone's claiming victory.
For one must be fair though, that the reason why those questions and those allegations and all those words perhaps were put forward was because you sided with a party that still went ahead and implemented VAT, even though at the end goal was to try and find other alternatives. People perhaps just didn't want that to be in place to begin with, and then find a solution later. They wanted people wanted you and Parliament to ultimately find a solution now, before ultimately implementing it. Is that not the issue at play?
We have done just that, actually. If you really are magnanimous and honest with yourself, we have done just that. We started this fight way back. We didn't start it in court on Tuesday. We started it in the Fiscal Framework Committee meeting in the Standing Committee of Finance. We came up with an alternative. We were the party that said there is a resolution to this impasse, an impasse that arose in the GNU, where main parties in the GNU could not find themselves and they could not come up with a budget on their own after 9 months of government.
And Mmusi Maimane and Bossa didn't waste time either. They took it to tweet and he just started ranting. We stood firm when it counted, and we have won for you. Yeah, all of them are doing it for us. Ne? The VAT increase has been reversed. When we voted in support of the fiscal framework, misinformation campaigns came at us fast and loud, but we didn't waver. We didn't run away to the court. I think they're referring to DA, right? And we knew that responsible negotiation around the table was the best way to find agreement to stop the proposed 0.5% point VAT increase. And today, that's exactly what's happened. The VAT increase has been blocked, and this is a victory for all of us, the people of South Africa. Leadership is not about noise. It's about making the responsible calls that deliver results. That's Mmusi Maimane for you.
Build One South Africa Deputy Leader Nobuntu Hlazo-Webster joins us now to discuss the implications thereof. I'm going to hopefully start then with the Build One South Africa as well here, and just get a sense of your understanding of where things were as well. You fiercely opposed the VAT hike, but you did vote, of course, for the fiscal framework. What does this ultimately mean moving forward?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. So we were fiercely opposed to the VAT increase, yes. We voted for the fiscal framework. We did so given the conditions that were in that report, that the VAT increase would be reviewed. And we have before that vote and post that vote negotiated with the ANC in good faith. We have submitted proposals. We've engaged with the ANC on ways to make sure that that fiscal gap is plugged. And so we've been committed right from the start to say, let's fight from within, and let's keep the country stable. Let us proceed with the budget process, but let's make sure that we engage on how it is that we shield South Africans from a VAT increase that we know would have been incredibly detrimental, particularly to the poor of South Africa.
Even DA didn't waste any time. Mama Zile took it to tweet also, and this is what she wrote. Major victory for South Africans. I like it when they all say, we are doing this for South Africans. Liars, liars, liars. Major victory for South Africans. The disastrous VAT hike has officially been scrapped. This would not have happened without your pressure and the DA's relentless fight in Parliament, in Cabinet, and in court. This is a win for every citizen who cannot afford higher prices. I like it, all of them, when they all claim that they are doing this for the citizens of South Africa, when some of us know that that might not be the truth.
DA spokesperson Karabo Kakao joins us live to discuss the latest in all of this. Karabo, DA must be happy.
Good morning to your viewers. Thank you so much for having the Democratic Alliance here. We're certainly celebrating because this is a victory for the people of South Africa, Arabile. The people of South Africa who've made it clear from the onset that they do not have more rands or cents to pay for food, for chicken enang le masapo, for baby formula, for school shoes, for nappies, for fuel, for basically living all together. And this is a fight that as the Democratic Alliance we took on behalf of South Africans, alongside South Africans to curb. And so we're very excited to have had the waking up to the news that we have here today, particularly because we wouldn't have seen the rise of this day had the Democratic Alliance not fought as hard as we did, had we not gone to court. The fact that Minister Godongwana's legal team approached the Democratic Alliance's legal team to ask for an out-of-court settlement is a clear indication that even they themselves, they knew that they were going to lose that case. And we're very proud as the Democratic Alliance that we were able to fight for South Africans there.
So that's how it is, guys. And if we were really into this thing of who takes the credit, who should take credit about this VAT increase being scrapped, I believe that it's two parties. I believe that credits should go to those two parties. That's DA and EFF, because they are the ones who took ANC to court. It is DA and EFF, of course, who put pressure on ministers' lawyers, treasurer's lawyers, and the treasurer's lawyers ended up approaching DA lawyers to say, no, look, let us negotiate this out of court. So definitely, if we were to claim credit here, or if we were to ask who's supposed to claim credit here, it is DA and EFF. And abanye mabahlale phansi.
It's been a long run to this point, but I think today is a cause for celebration because it is the clearest indication yet of what it means to enable a party like the Democratic Alliance, fighting for the people of South Africa, to have the balance of power in the national parliament. It came as a surprise to me when very late last night I was called by our lawyers to say, we have been approached with a settlement offer by the lawyers for the Minister of Finance. Why did that take me by surprise? Because less than 1 week before that, in his answering affidavit in our court case, the Minister of Finance made it absolutely clear that the VAT increase of 0.5% would go ahead on the 1st of May. I have no doubt that the Minister's legal team went back to him on Wednesday morning, the day after our court case, and said it looks as if it is going to be inevitable that the 0.5% VAT increase that takes effect on the 1st of May could well be set aside by the court. And in that context, it seemed better for the minister to concede before he was perceived to have been forced to by the outcome of the DA's court challenge.
So remember, guys, that the court case, the DA court case and the ANC has been going on since. And of course, up until recently, where they said the treasurer's lawyers didn't do a very good job in defending the increase of VAT. So obviously, DA lawyers were all over them, to a point where treasurer's lawyers approached the DA lawyers to say, no, look, yeah, let's just settle this out of court, and which led to this VAT increase being scrapped. So it's bravo, it's a good job. It's a good job for DA and EFF, of course. And guys, one thing that you should note here is this. The National Treasury's lawyer approaching DA lawyers to settle the case out of court has got nothing to do with Action SA and BOSA and the rest of the parties, of course. Nothing at all. Hence, I'm saying DA and EFF, because EFF played a huge role in this. The supplementary role they played in this means something. So that's why I'm saying the credit belongs to DA and the EFF. So my question to you guys is that who do you think credit belongs to? Who really deserves credit in this? Do you think it's DA and EFF, or do you think it's Action SA and BOSA? Because with me, it's clear, guys. I mean, it's DA and EFF who deserves credit on this, because I don't think that if EFF and DA didn't go to court, I don't think that this VAT increase would have been scrapped. And I don't think that Action SA, BOSA, and the other parties had the power really to turn things around and make sure that the VAT is scrapped. So what do you think? Let me hear your comment below. And of course, if you're coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.